All right, we are reacting to the Elon Musk Asmongold drama, and what better place to look at it than Moist's channel. This is a pretty quick video, and we will give our honest opinions.
Elon Musk is a worm I like to shoot spitballs and throw tomatoes at from time to time because he is a jaw-droppingly embarrassing specimen of pure cringe that it is impossible to fight the urge to clown on him. Yet, whenever I do, and whenever
I never got the hate for Elon. I think he's a really very interesting human being. Now, this whole Path of Exile thing is extremely cringe and kind of pathetic, but generally speaking, other than that, I don't really get the hate, but that's me.
whenever anyone mentions Elon in a less than flattering way, you will have the most unlovable Cro-Magnon swarm you, dogpiling like it's World War Z zombies, to try and defend Elon from whatever the slight criticism or jokes were about him. These go
I mean, that's true for everyone, though. Every famous person has their defenders, right? They're white knights. This is true for everybody, not just Elon.
gonad gobblers will always blow my mind because I don't understand this brain off worship of Elon Musk. Everything they hype him up to be, he is the opposite. He is not cool. He generates AI images of himself where he's not like this meatball-shaped man. He is not for
He is a little bit meatball shaped. I'll give him that.
free speech like they like to hype him up as. He's not a champion of free speech by any means. In fact, I personally think he is someone that is firmly against it in almost every single instance.
I disagree. I don't think he's against free speech, but I don't really think he's for free speech either. I think Elon's main objective is just to get the right forms of government and laws that further his ambitions and his goals. And I think Twitter was leaning extremely far left and very pro-censorship of the right, and that was just not good for his business. So he took Twitter and made it very pro-right, and that was good for business. And, well, I think it was just a question of what is best for my company and my goals. I don't think he's necessarily, though, against free speech at all. He's probably for free speech, if anything. But, again, I don't think he bought Twitter because of free speech issues. I think he bought Twitter because he had certain goals he wanted to meet.
Like, he personally banned the word cis. He actively bans things that hurt his feelings, and today I think is a great example of that, and hopefully will be a mask-off moment for a lot of people, and open their eyes to the fact that this is not a guy who's for free speech and is not for you. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but do we even need...
It depends if free speech aligns with his goals. Correct. Correct. Although, if I had to guess, I would say he is much more free speech than he is censorship. But at the same time, I don't think he's a free speech absolutionist in terms of, like, everybody should have free speech no matter what. He will still take it within his power to, like, block someone's speech if that speech hurts him. He's not working off of a principle here. He's just working off of a preference.
Need to talk about the H-1B take? Like, come on. He's not looking to hire you. He doesn't want to know you. He doesn't want to employ you. He wants the cheapest labor, and he wants everyone to be constantly fondling his sack and being really, really nice to him because he's our special.
I mean, I think Moist is, like, absolutely super biased on one hand. So my guess would be, why did he talk about the visas? Most likely, I think what Elon probably wants is a government that is very pro-business. It makes it easy for big companies to grow. And why is that? Is because, well, Elon Musk is a really big business. He has a lot of big companies, and he still wants to grow. And probably Elon ran into a lot of issues with growth, especially when it came to his, what is his shuttle service called? SpaceX. Like, he had a lot of issues with SpaceX. He had a lot of, like, regulations that he had to meet. He had to do a lot of studies on marine safety, like a lot of bullshit he had to go through in order to get certain things done. And he doesn't want to do that because it wastes his time. I don't think it's, what did he say exactly here?
Fondling his sack and employ you. He wants the cheapest labor, and he wants everyone to be constantly fondling his sack and being really, really nice to him because he's our special boy. It's so embarrassing. So,
no, he just wants the best for his business because he's a business guy and he wants to make a lot of money so he can achieve his goals easier. I don't think that's cringe. I think that's, like, what most people want. Most people who have really big businesses who are hyper successful, they want to keep growing. I think that's pretty normal, though.
What I want to talk about today is what I think should be a very clear example of how Elon uses his power and where he actually stands on free speech. he is having a textbook crash out over gaming.
This is true. This is true.
Earlier this week, Quinn made a beautiful video that's breaking down the fact that Elon Musk is not the one who piloted his Path of Exile 2 account to the top of the leaderboard. It's not a conspiracy, it's not grasping at straws. When you finish that video, and I highly recommend you watch the whole video, it will be very clear, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Elon Musk was not the one who actually got the account to where it was. He instead gets permission from the boosters to play on it and flex it for his Twitter streams.
He is 100% correct. I have a few thousand hours in PoE 1. I was top 50 on the leaderboard in PoE 2, so I know what I'm talking about to an extent. And watching Elon's gameplay, it is beyond obvious that that is not Elon Musk's account and that he did not put any significant amount of hours leveling that account. This is obvious. Anybody who knows anything about Path of Exile will look at his gameplay and say, yep, somebody gave him that account. No question.
He didn't know the very basic fundamentals of the game. However, I will say that his catastrophe of a stream while trying to show how great he is at gaming was enough to make me get back into grinding Path of Exile 2, because I've been slow rolling it for a while. I was still on cruel difficulty, but then watching Elon the bumbling buffoon try and play Path of Exile was like actual rage bait to get me to go back in and grind hard. So now I'm up to tier 3 waystones in the end game. It's so fucking fun. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, Elon Musk knew nothing about the game. It was very clear. And the big thing about it wasn't even that he had someone boosting his account for him. It's that he was just in this complete denial and trying to convince people that he is the best gamer alive.
So he did the exact same thing in Diablo 4. And when he did it in Diablo 4, I mean, chatters in my chat someone will remember, I said there's almost no way that he got that account. I was almost certain. Like, when I say almost, I'm like 98%. I was like 98% certain that was not his account. Somebody got the account there for him. And that the only thing he did is the actual gameplay of like breaking the record for fastest clear. Because the amount of grind it takes to get an account to a certain level is insane. To get the certain gear is insane. At the very least, he RMT'd to a very high degree to get that Diablo 4 account to where it is. So I already knew he did it in Diablo 4. I already knew he was going to do it in Path of Exile. This was obvious.
This game's a little too easy. I'm on max difficulty, you know.
The problem is, on Diablo 4, because Diablo 4 is so brain dead easy as a game, once you have a character of a certain power level, it's very hard to tell the difference between an average gamer and an elite gamer. Because all you do is press forward and clear, right? In Diablo 4, the showcase of Elon Musk being the best in the world, you can't quite tell if he's average or a genius. Because there's no skill expression, right? The entire hard part is acquiring all the gear, getting your paragons maxed, getting to that point. The actual clearing of the place is not that difficult, right? So you couldn't really tell from the gameplay whether it was his account or not, but in Path of Exile, you can. So this is why the PoE thing is much more blatant evidence. It goes from like 90-something% to 100%. Because in the PoE video, you can literally tell, yeah, he's never played this account properly.
Oh, swagged out mode, and I'm just kind of breezing through it because I'm just that good at games, that kind of thing. It's his reluctance to just be honest about like, hey guys, I like this game. I don't have time to grind it, so I paid these people to grind it for me so that way I can get to the end game and, you know, play the content I want. It wouldn't have blown up to this degree. I still think that would have been a little silly and people would have still absolutely made fun of him for it, but to a lesser degree. It just, what's the point? Why are you paying someone to boost your account? If you like the game, why not just play it on your own time, even if it's not that fast and even if you're not top of the charts?
So this isn't really the main problem. Here's what I see. Elon Musk, after he did the D4 thing, so he did the Diablo 4, I'm the best in the world at Diablo 4. The reason he did it as well in Path of Exile is, first of all, people were literally swinging on his nutsack. Like, people would grab this balls like, wee, Elon's the best. He went on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's like, man, you're so gifted. You have SpaceX and you're also like a #1 gamer. Holy crap, Elon, you are a genius. Like, people were lining up behind him like, my God, can this man do no wrong? Not only is he the best in business, he's also the best at gaming. And that got to his head, you know? Like, Elon was already getting a lot of attention. Now to get attention from millions of more people on the gaming end, that was probably a really big high. He probably wanted to replicate it. Like, oh, wow. He probably never expected people to be that impressed by the D4 thing. And he's like, whoa, Path of Exile is coming out very similar to D4. I can do it again. I think that's what really led down to him doing it in Path of Exile. He got a taste of the crack, you know? He got a feel for it. He got a taste of what it's like to be successful, like in video games. It's something he's never felt before, and he couldn't stop.
But for Elon, the reason is because he wants everyone to view him as God's gift to humanity. So like, I'm one of the best gamers. Check the stats.
True. He even said he was one of the best Quake gamers of all time, which is interesting because when Quake was really big, Joe Rogan played a lot of Quake. Like Rogan, I believe Joe Rogan, when Quake was really huge, he spent $10,000 a month on his internet just to have a dedicated cable go straight from his ISP to his home to get the best possible ping. Like, get your minds around that. This was like decades ago. That's how big of a nerd Joe Rogan was for Quake. That's how much money back in the day he was spending on Quake, because Joe Rogan was addicted to Quake. So I was a little bit surprised Joe Rogan didn't call him out on Quake, because he would probably know who he is. But anyway, that's besides the point.
And he didn't achieve it. It wasn't him. And when Quinn made this video, it very much hurt Elon, because the gamers that he's trying to appeal to were privy to the fact that he's not the gaming god he claims to be.
True.
And that damaged him. So I knew he was going to have a comical response, but I didn't expect it would be this absurd. To set the stage for what happens next.
It's so bad. But let's continue.
Next, Asmon and many others covered Quinn's video, as well as other people's content, talking about how it was impossible that Elon was the one that actually played on that account because he is just dog shit and knows nothing about the game. Asmon covered this, he talked about it, reacted to the video, and today, Elon went on Twitter and had this to say. Asmon behaves like a maverick independent, but in reality has to ask his boss for permission before he can do anything. He is not his own man.
This is so sad.
He then leaked his DMs with Asmon, where he said, this is Asmon, I'm going to see if my editors might want to make a second account for it. And then Elon replies, sure. Who are these mysterious editors? He actually sounds like that news anchor. Who is this 4chan? Like, how can someone be this fucking out of touch and stupid? I will never cease to be shocked by the absolute idiot potion this guy seems to be boofing on the daily. Like, how?
All right, that's kind of a silly take. I think most normal people who are not in the Twitch and YouTube scene do not know what a YouTube editor is. What does the average person think when you say, hey, I have an editor? They think of like, oh, well, what is an editor? In their experience, an editor is like a newspaper editor, somebody who makes the final decisions on what makes it to the front page, what makes it where, you know? Like editors in general, outside of like YouTube and Twitch, are the decision makers. So, like, I think the average person who's not in the gaming sphere would also not know what an editor is.
What do you mean, who are these mysterious editors? Do you not know what editors are?
Most people don't know what editors are in the context of gaming.
Holy shit. So then Asmon explains, two guys, links them, and then they basically run the entire YouTube account, lol.
Yeah, so he probably read this wrong. He's like, oh, they're the actual owners of your content. Instead of Asmon being, tongue-in-cheek, they run the account, basically, because they do all the work.
So basically, any content I post is edited or uploaded by them, and they can just get a cut of the ad rev. It's a super good system, to be honest. Almost everyone on YouTube does it. And then
so you can see how Elon misread this as, oh, so Asmongold's actually run by his editors. Like, he has no say. You can see where he made the misunderstanding, and he thought he had fire on Asmon. He thought he had something to, like, what is the word? To expose Asmongold for who he really is.
And there's a community note there, which says what should be obvious to anyone with a functioning frontal lobe. Elon Musk seems to think Asmongold is an employee with editors overseeing him. That's incorrect. Asmongold's editors are actually his employees. They edit, upload his content for a revenue share. They don't control what he does. And then Elon Musk proceeds to take away Asmongold's checkmark on Twitter. You remember that thing Elon was like really adamant about?
Is it confirmed he took the check mark off? Is that a confirmation? I mean, probably is. I'm just curious if it's confirmed.
You know, how check marks were kind of like weaponized. Hey, Elon, you're doing that. So, the free speech guy, you're taking away his check mark because he hurt your feelings, fundamentally shadow banning him because without a check mark, his replies and his engagement go way down and you won't really see it anymore. You're shadow banning someone who hurt your feelings. Elon is just that fucking sensitive. In fact, sensitive doesn't even really cover it. Like, my cock gets sensitive when it gets sucked for too long. I'm like, ooh, ooh. But, like, that's sensitive. Elon has reached a new level of sensitivity I did not think was even achievable by a human being. It is just fucking flabbergasted by how soft he is. He has all the money in the world, but is beyond insecure to the point that I can't believe he's a real person. This has to be some kind of, like, Android protocol that's been sent from space, from, like, space Redditors, in order to see, like, the limits of cringe that can be pushed. Come on!
I don't know about that. I think the pirate situation is competing for most sensitive at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see.
He's talking about editors and then saying Asmon needs his editor's permission to post things. He lacks the fundamental understanding not only of Path of Exile 2, but of life. Like, of...
This is... Okay, I mean, this whole point, again, I think is just living in a bubble for Moist. Again, most people Elon's age... more than 50% don't know what an editor is in the context of YouTube and Twitch. It was really stupid of Elon to make that comment because he kind of told it himself and he made an idiot of himself. Like, the guy screwed up massively. But to say anybody who makes the same mistake is an idiot, that's silly. Most people Elon's age have no idea what an editor is. If you tell somebody he is the editor, they think of somebody in power who makes the final choice of what is going to go and what is not. He owns a media company, he should know. I'm not saying otherwise. I'm just saying, like, to say he lacks frontal lobe understanding is an insult to everybody else who doesn't know what an editor is.
Of living as a sentient being. How can you even reach that conclusion? I mean, I know how he reached that conclusion because he is a turbo moron who can't, like, activate neurons and think. So he saw the word editor and made the assumption that it's like the editors that will oversee someone's work in the journalism sector.
Correct.
And he gets these dots, these breadcrumbs that he starts connecting from out of fucking nowhere about how, well, Asmon is actually just a pawn of his editors. That's not just wrong, that is just blatant misinformation. He is actively engaging in misinformation, making it seem like Asmon has a puppet master above him, these editors, that he has to answer to. And then he abuses his power to take away his checkmark. He is actively doing all of the things he says he is super against, and all of the people say that he hates and will never do. He does it. I don't see how a single Elon Musk nipple-suckling leech could see this and conjure up some kind of excuse for it. There's no mental gymnastics that could possibly exist to just...
I mean, there is a lot of mental gymnastics that exist. The obvious fact is, Elon got a really massive high for lying about being a Diablo 4 professional player and being a Quake professional player. He got a lot of people sucking his balls over the fact that he's a great gamer. He loved how that felt. He said, you know what, if I can do it once, I can do it again, because Diablo 4 is now old news. People stop talking about it. What if I do it in Path of Exile 2? So he hired somebody to get like a top-end account for him. He did it again. He was waiting. Oh my God, I'm gonna get sucked off on the internet once again. He was so excited. He showed us footage of him playing. He's like, anytime now. Let's see the videos of people saying Elon's the best. And then it all went crashing down. And people started reacting, Elon's a fake. He's a liar, Expecting a massive high and then getting that massive of a low. He's like, I gotta prevent this. I gotta stop this. Who are the main people who are saying these bad things about me? And then he sees his boy, Asmongold, said it. Not only is Asmongold usually on his side, but he's actually had conversations with him. Now he feels betrayed. Not only am I getting shit on, I didn't get my high, now people I considered friendly with me in my DMs are attacking me. Now it's personal. Now he's like, no, I gotta get this Asmongold guy, I gotta get my way, I gotta get my revenge. Who does he think he is to talk bad about me after we talked as friends on? So what is he gonna do? He goes into his conversations. There it is. he's controlled. Well, I'm going to leak this to the world. You fuck with me, I fuck with you, you know? I'm going to get back at him. But he screwed up again because the thing he thinks he caught Asmon on is nothing. He misunderstood it. So not only did he screw up lying about Path of Exile, now he also showed himself to be a bit of an asshole, leaking DMs. And he didn't even end up getting any revenge because what he leaked is nothing. So he's in a pretty shitty spot, at least when it comes to how people perceive him from all of this.
Justify this behavior. It's the epitome of everything people hate. It's cringe. It's sensitive. True. It's an abuse of power. His feelings got hurt, so he used his power as the fucking chief general of Twitter to take away his checkmark because he hurt his feelings. And then he goes on to leak DMs. How could you possibly look at that and be like, no, that makes sense. Elon was in the right here. Like, let's say you just love Elon. You know what? I'm not your dad. You can like whoever you want, like whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. But why do you have to like something and then love everything they ever do? Why can't you be more receptive to like, you know, I really like Elon, but this was a bad look. I didn't like what he did here. I think this was pretty embarrassing.
A well-functioning human treats things that way. You look at things, you can say, I like that, I don't like that. But people like to play team sports. So, unfortunately, most people are like that. Either they hate everything about somebody or they love everything about somebody. They can't have nuance one way or another. It's a bit sad, but it's true.
That's called being normal. For some reason...
Nah, I think the normal person is a team player. I think the normal person doesn't really think for themselves.
People just can't be normal anymore. If you like something, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to fucking love it. You have to be like snorting that drug constantly and shut out and hate everyone who pokes holes in it.
I mean, to be fair, I always feel like this guy is the opposite end, right? I wonder if he can say anything he likes about Elon. That would be a fun test. Like, give me 3 things you think Elon's great at, and let's see what he says. I'd be curious, because most people are extremely one-sided.
It's so weird. I don't know why people want to live their life this way. They just want like the black and white. Elon good. Anyone who said Elon not good, they're bad. Elon good. I don't know why people want that. No one likes to think anymore, and with the way the internet's gone, you don't have to think anymore. You can just wait for tweets to tell you what to think, or even ChatGPT to tell you what to think. I guess it's just easier to live your life on like drooling autopilot mode. But I would argue that you are doing yourself a huge disservice in life if you just live this way, where even if you really like Elon, whatever, why not just be receptive to the idea that he's not infallible? Maybe he does make mistakes. Maybe he is.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of this. A lot of people are like, yeah, Elon did not cheat. Elon, that is Elon's account. I'm like, yeah, what are you saying, bro? All the evidence points to otherwise. It basically means they refuse to look at the evidence. They just refuse to believe that there is evidence. It's silly.
Is cringe sometimes. And you can acknowledge that, recognize that, and then at the end of the day, still like him if you want. It just doesn't compute with me. And of course, it's not exclusive to Elon. It's a very normal thing now all of a sudden where if you like something or like someone, anything that is brought up that's negative about it is like the end of the world to you. And then you spend hours a day arguing with bots on Twitter about it and defending the thing you like. I just don't get it. Elon Musk, I think, is just the best example of this phenomenon because his fan base does PR for...
I felt this recently. I said a few things about a certain individual. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to bring up drama. But I said a few things about a certain individual. And I was basically told that because I haven't worked in Blizzard for 7 years and I don't have game dev experience, that I can't have an opinion on it. So I was shut down pretty hard.
For him as if it's their actual job. Like they are professional PR drones for Elon that he doesn't even have to pay. Because they are in the trenches every single minute of every single day, suckling on him, arguing on his behalf, shutting down any criticisms against him. It's just so embarrassing. Almost as embarrassing as Elon himself. So yeah, anyway, I had to talk about this. Because what an incredible response from Elon to just take away Asmon's check mark and then leak his DMs where he completely misunderstands that editors aren't like his overseers. It's so, oh my god. So yeah, anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah,
it was really bad. I'm surprised they didn't really put the tweet Elon did in this, because Elon made a tweet. I think he put it in the beginning somewhere. Regardless of the fact, Elon massively screwed up. Not only did he get caught for the PoE2 thing, but he showed a side of himself that he probably never showed before. Leaking DMs, that's bad, man. If you're going to leak DMs, you better have a damn good reason for it. And his reason was petty, at best. I mean, it was just cringe. Still, that's the Elon situation, and this is pretty much all basically confirmed. I mean, as confirmed as it can get. Pretty sad to see. All right, that's about it. Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you next time.